We would like to welcome Whitney Phillips from TrustedSec, who's going to go ahead. Whitney's been around for a long time in the industry. She's
13?
given a lot of talks.
Yes.
I'm not going to say how many years.
13, I think.
13?
13, yeah.
13 years. We'd like to welcome her and let her talk about how to give your first cybersecurity presentation.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me okay? Good? We good? All right. Okay. So, just going to start off with, if you have any questions, we'll keep this like very open dialogue, so feel free to interrupt me at any time. Afterwards, we will have questions as well, and then if anybody in the crowd also has opinions or offers to give up on their own personal conference experiences, feel free. I'd like to keep it like a very open dialogue. So, all right, so and this is the part right here. So did you see what happened? I'm like, I lost my train of thought. That's okay, that happens normally. So I'm gonna start with an icebreaker. Who here, is this their first BSides312? Oh, nice. Who came to year one? One? Whose first conference? Anybody? Awesome. So that works. So icebreakers are a really good way to kind of level your nerves out. I use those a lot just to kind of get the anxiety, the shakiness in my voice. That way you can get the crowd interaction, people paying attention. So what my talk's going to be about is how to create your first conference talk. So who am I? My name is Whitney Phillips. I guess 14 years. I've been in InfoSec and IT for 14 years. I started as help desk, went to system administration, did security operations. From there, I also did purple teaming, so I did secure code review. I do not know any code, so I winged it. Fake it till you make it, right? After that, I worked for a pen testing company that did mobile application security, and then I transitioned to TrustedSec about 3 years ago, where I do mobile and web application. So I put this slide up here. It's a bit wordy and I don't like it, but these are all the conferences that I've spoke at. So I have some degree of knowledge. I mean, people seem to accept me and like me. But I've spoke at DEFCon, BSides312, Cactuscon, GrrCon, and Grand Rapids. If you have not gone to that conference, really great conference. CypherCon, I also did Day of Security, and that's online, and then local ISSA chapter. So, yeah, right here. This is I'm gonna go right into, so this is gonna be weird. It's a weird conference talk. These are perfect ways to give yourself a gentle pause. You collect your thoughts, Kermit emoji, you're like, all right, I can pause here for a second, I can add more time to my conference talk. Memes are great. So, why are we here? Well, I mean, you guys want to know how to give your first conference talk. Well, it's going to be on my opinion and what I've experienced. So I'm not finding this information out of a book. It's just my process on how I apply for the conference, what I do to prep, what do I do beforehand. I mean, Atlas witnessed my 30 bathroom breaks before I went on stage, so there's also that. So we'll go ahead and get started. And check this out. I'm gonna take a quick water break just to slow things down. Okay, so application process. So when you're applying for a conference, first thing is you want to find a conference that you're interested in speaking at. So you want to look and see what content are they talking on. Have you been to that conference? Personally, my first conference talk was GrrCon, and I went to that conference several times before that, and I felt comfortable being there. So finding a conference that you're comfortable, you know the layout, That's one of my first suggestions on when you're going to apply for a talk. Also, take in consideration virtual talks. I know it's a little less scary, but it's also a way to kind of get your information out there in front of people. I've done a couple virtual talks. Also, you can use them like if you have new content and maybe you're nervous about presenting that in front of actual humans, and virtual humans are obviously easier to talk in front of. So take in consideration of those virtual talks. I kind of jumped, and this will happen, so if you don't like memorize your slides by heart, this will happen. But again, pick a conference you have attended to in the past. So like I said, the GrrCon. Look at previous year's talks and topics, see what people have presented on. Maybe it's more technically focused in the blue team side. So if you're going to apply for it, they might not be accepting that exact talk that you're going to. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't not apply to a conference just because they don't have what you're looking for. Right here, so this is pulled off of GrrCon's page. Right here, they've got all the different talks that they've had in the past. You can go check them out, see what people have presented on in the past. I did have somebody before in my Cactuscon talk. They had asked, what if I want to talk about something that's not finished? And I said, go ahead, do it. Like, talk about, like, I think they were working on a project. I'm like, talk about how much further you are, or like how far you are in that project. Submit that talk. You know, if it happens and you submit it and it gets accepted, then you have more time to work on it. Or, you know, you only talk about maybe a specific component in that talk. So after you've found what you think you want to talk about, we're going to go for a call for paper. So call for paper is what you use, or what the conferences use, to apply to their talks. There's several different call for papers. So lightning talks tend to be very small, like 15-minute talks. BSides, I like these because they're a little bit more casual, not as, you know, you're not standing up in front of RSA talking about how to give a conference talk, that kind of thing. Virtual talks again. And then when you're doing your call for papers, a lot of the time it's either, I think this one's a 50-minute time slot, but 20 minutes, 25 minutes, 50 minutes, 40 minutes. So when you're basing your content on the time frame, you want to pick something. Can I talk about something for 20 minutes? And can I talk about something for 40 minutes? I would suggest, honestly, if it is your first time and you're gathering information and you're unsure, I would go for the 30-minute one, because you're going to blow through your talk in about 15 minutes. How do I know? Because it happened. I had a 30-minute talk and I looked down and 15 minutes went by and I was like, all right, I'm done. So think about it. When you finally kind of have that idea in your head, yes, go ahead.
Do you have to write a paper?
Do I have to write a paper?
It's a call for papers. Do I have to write a paper?
No, well, in a kind of. I actually have some slides that are going to show you that. Some application processes for call for paper. So, not necessarily. I mean, well, actually, have you had to write a paper for a call for paper? Once? Okay. I've never. It's more so an about me. Well, you're skipping ahead in my talk. All right. Anyways, pick a topic that you're knowledgeable about, something you can speak confidently on. So, a good example. I used to do secure code review. I did my first year in AppSec. Yeah, I felt like Big Bird. You know the Big Bird meme where, like, He's walking with Darth Vader. That is me. Yeah, so, and I just like fish out of water, like I had no idea what I was doing. Then I went on to doing my mobile talk, and that's something I know like the back of my hand. So complete night and day of the conference, my conference talk. So now that you've identified what you want to talk about, it's time to apply for a CFP. This is off of GrrCon's page, so I know the font's really tiny, but it says like if you're interested in speaking at GrrCon, the following instructions are below. There's going to be a date that you want to submit that by. Then you must pick, again, the 50-minute or the 25-minute time slot. They'll also put some specifications on like what they're wanting. This says if you plan to kill people with terrible, unreadable slides, go to another conference. Very true. So, and this, yeah, topics of interest: hackers, information security, no sales pitch. Don't do sales pitch. So, here's my BSides312 call for paper. Submissions, they give you dates, again, email contact. What else? Here's the next one. So this is kind of what like one call for paper would look like. Right here, you're gonna give your title, your elevator speech. So this is the part where you're gonna sell yourself on why you're a good fit for this talk. Where you select your time frame, and then like who is it best. Go ahead.
Should I have AI write my CFP?
No. I mean, maybe a little bit if you don't know it. Do you not know about yourself? I mean, the best person that knows about yourself is yourself. No, you shouldn't have AI write about yourself. Maybe your code. No, I'm just kidding. No. No, you don't want to have AI write about yourself because they'll have you saying that you do underwater basket weaving or something. So the next portion of this is the description of what your talk is going to be about. So this talk will go through the application process, creating your first slide deck, what the presenter should expect, the do's and don'ts while presenting. And then I also put in, this talk was a great hit at GrrCon and Cactuscon. I have no idea if it was, but I just wanted to like, push it up, raise the roof. Again, you're gonna make your CFP as compelling. This is just one CFP. Everybody's different. So like Atlas said, sometimes you might have to write a paper for that. On the other side, this is what it looks like when the call for papers are closed. So they are pretty serious about those deadlines, and they will close the page down once they have hit the deadline. So, I mean, unless you maybe know somebody who knows somebody, but after that, you should stick within that deadline and try to get that submitted. All right. So, I've submitted my call for paper. You're anticipating and waiting, like, oh God, when am I gonna get accepted? And then you get slapped with a rejection letter. Wah, wah. So I submitted 2 talks for Cactuscon, and try to not like get butthurt about it, but it's okay. So this one is my mobile application security talk, and I had applied for the main technical track. Unfortunately, I didn't get accepted, but who knows? You try not to, what I'm getting at with this is don't get upset when they reject you, because somebody might already have a mobile talk, which somebody did, and they accepted that one over mine, which is fine. And it just gives you more ammo to go and apply for new talks. Don't let a rejection letter stop you from submitting more talks. It can be frustrating. I know it's a letdown because You think you have this beautiful baby and you're like, here's my stuff. And then they're like, no. But it just might not be what fits in there. Or they have, last year BSides312, I think, had 50 people apply for 10 spots or something, right? I mean, think about how are we supposed to fit that content in there? And then there's the opposite side, an acceptance letter. So then, same conference, they're like, but we really like this talk. So, which is fine. I mean, that's the other thing, is maybe you have 2 different topics and submit 2 different topics. Maybe both of you should feel relatively comfortable with, but submit 2 different topics and see if one or the other gets accepted. I don't know, some conferences probably don't necessarily take both of your topics. I guess it depends on how big it is. So, okay, so we're landing on the fact that we got our acceptance letter. We've done our call for paper. So what do we have to do next? We gotta create that presentation. I'm about Kermit. I love, and it gets a chuckle out of the, yeah, it's funny. It's funny, guys. It's funny. All right, so creating your slide deck. So this is all gonna be about you, but personally for me, I like the black with the white font. That's more so what Phoenix, he's an old school hacker, basically bullied me into doing, and then I kind of stuck with it. But I like it because you can see it clearly. There's not a lot of visual distraction. Unless you have to use your work slide deck, then I'm sorry. That's just, I don't know if I needed to use my work slide deck for this, but nah, it's okay. So your slide deck should be visually appealing without being overwhelming. So I like to stick to very little content on there and use my knowledge and my voice to give out the information. Memes are great too, though. I've used graphic memes, add borders around them to create contrast. I'm a jerk. I'm going to Vegas for a conference. Nobody actually goes to the conference, right? Yeah. Some people do. Yeah. And then it just gives you time to take a break. Yeah. So, I don't know. And that has nothing to do with what's going on. I was just giving you examples of time-consuming memes. Okay, moving on. Short bullet points to convey information. Avoid death by PowerPoint. What I mean by that, this. Nobody wants that. Nobody does. So, death by PowerPoint. The people have to read several slides. I'd rather have smaller, concise, maybe have 3 on there. From there, even if you have to go and have a second page, the continuation, it's easier, it's more visual. They're not overwhelmed by all the content that's on that page. Because puke's giving. That and it's ridiculous. I'm sure it looks terrible in a cell phone picture too. So that's my first tip. Not a lot of bullet points. You can use them. I know I didn't use them in the last slide, but if you use them, just keep them very small, bare minimum with a bigger font. All right. Title slide. So, and I guess this kind of needs to go back to the CFP as well. Your title needs to be very catchy. Mine isn't, but I still get accepted. I don't know how that works. But what's one of, do you have a cool title? Does anybody have a cool conference title talk? Do you have one? What was yours?
Theft of service attack.
There you go. There. Or my friend did Track the Planet, Microsoft enumeration. Something that bring the people in. I've got creating your own, oh, look at this one. I forgot about this. It's right in front of me. Augmented reality and the implications of mobile security. I did this at DEFCon. It kind of like wants to bring people in. It's interesting. But yeah, your title is what is going to bring somebody into that talk. That being said, I swear, if you do a title that sounds super cool and your talk is not good, out of here. No, I'm just kidding. Out of here. No. No. So we've got next your About Me slide. This is your slowdown point. So this is your first 5-ish minutes of your talk is about you, or 3 to 5. Because who doesn't know yourself more than yourself? Once you get past that, the nerves and the edge come off, and then that's when it starts flowing. I'm sure you heard my voice was trembling at the beginning. I had to do that icebreaker. I start talking about myself, and then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, I've got this, I'm cool. So this is your most important slide. I know it's crazy. For me, or I guess for me, it's my most important slide because it gets me past the jitters. So next off, oh, memes again. This is the one I was talking about.
Oh, yeah.
So, all right, so kind of like moving into more slide deck stuff. So title slides are a great way to give yourself a break along with the memes. It also helps you collect your thoughts on what you're going to talk about next. So I do this in my mobile security. I'm like, oh yes, mobile devices. I'm going to talk about jailbreaking iOS devices next. So then from there, I can gather the information in my head. I know I'm going to talk about Uncover. I know I'm going to talk about all these different jailbreaking tools, but it just sets the tone so you're not just going into content. It helps you see, okay, I've got this next, and then it jogs your memory, because you should kind of have this not memorized so much, but you should just be confident enough to speak on it. I also like to use visuals with links to show my topic. So MobSF is an application that I use a lot in work, but you just type MobSF. If you just write MobSF and then write the URL, it's kind of boring, but I like putting a little visual on there. It also helps save from like several bullet points. Also putting screenshots, not with client data, of the application itself on the next page helps out as well. So I love these because this is the way, this is how I talk about specific topics within my talk without having a shit ton of bullet points. Speaking of a shit ton of bullet points, right here. This is a little bit more than I use, but when I was doing my augmented reality talk, so story time, 3 weeks before DEFCon, a girl from one of the villages, the augmented reality village, was like, hey, do you want to write a talk for DEFCon? I was like, yeah, duh. She's like, but it's got to be on augmented reality. I'm like, I have no idea what that's supposed to... Yeah, I don't know. So, literally, I made up this talk in 3 weeks, but because I was a little, I guess, unfamiliar or didn't know the topic quite well, I added a little bit more bullet points in so I could jog my memory easier. So, I mean, it's still not a lot. It's not like the last page, but it is okay. If it's visually appealing, it's okay to use those extra bullet points if it helps you jog your memory. Also, the notes section as well. Even if you have to put like little keywords down there, using the notes section in your PowerPoint presentation does help. Even when you're like practicing, so you're like, oh yeah, I'm going to say this next. I would not read it off word for word though, because it's boring when you're just reading off of a sheet and there's no bounce in the talk. Like, I don't know how to explain it. excitement. I'm like, hey, this is my talk on mobile application security. And we're going to talk about my stuff next. So yeah. Know your topic again. I can't like express that enough, is be confident in your topic. So there is also going to be people afterwards that are going to be like, well, actually, and it's okay. And then you just say, okay, thank you. And then you walk off. That's what I do. And I'm like, well, thank you for your information. I appreciate that. And then you just go away. Anyways, I'm going on a tangent. So lock it back in. How's everybody doing? We got 24 minutes? I'm going to take a quick water break. It's okay to take water breaks too. I would highly suggest having a water up there. It slows you down, slows that pace down, collects your thoughts. I am a fast talker, so I know it's definitely something I use to kind of pace myself. Moving on, screenshots. So when you're doing command line screenshots, we do not want to see a bunch of black. The same thing goes with what your report writing. But this is a more acceptable screenshot. You can see the command, they can take a picture of it, and then you're gonna have to be mindful of your screen size that you have. So this one's smaller. I've been on ones that are probably the same size as the stage. That's why people often either take pictures or ask for the slide deck afterwards. Other things to consider when you're making your presentation: live demos. No. I mean, you can, but it might be a train wreck. Stick to pre-recorded demos. They work well. And that's when your stuff works, because guess what? The server that you were working on tips over during the conference for sure. So animations, test your animations. Video links, that's another thing. If you have video links with stuff that you want your audience to hear, the content, I would test it before the conference and test it at the conference, because sometimes they don't have the right connection that you need to project the audio over whatever they're using. So test again. And then finally, when you're making your slide deck, I always throw questions out there, unless you don't want a question slide. Just as kind of a gentle way of ending your talk and then segueing into those questions. Also, about me, I use that a lot. Yeah, so that's basically kind of my overall layout of how I do my presentations. I mean, obviously you can see what it looks like right now for this one, but that's more so like with my mobile talk. Shower thoughts. So we've got our conference talk taken care of. I like this shower thoughts thing because, the shower thoughts thing is kind of nice because right before your talk, I sometimes like to talk about my talk in the shower and like rehearse it and like just jog my memory of what I'm supposed to be talking about. So that's why I put shower thoughts. Even if it's in the shower, rehearse your talk. Even if it is talking to somebody about your talk. So when you're like, hey, what's your talk about? Use that opportunity to talk about your talk to get it comfortable with it. It's crazy. Like, it's like I know it sounds crazy, right, to talk about, but it's like, it helps me out so much because I'm like, it gets my nerves out of the way. I'm like, oh yeah, well, I'm talking about this and I'm doing this, and you get excited about it. You can record your talk. Also, time out your talk. So my first talk, obviously I told you it was like 15 minutes. The next time around, I went down in the basement, I used the projector, and I practiced doing my talk with a projector and made sure that I was at least within that window of time. And then progressively, as I added more content, I actually got to the point where I was spilling over on time, which is also not a good move, and happens often, doesn't it?
What?
Doesn't spilling over on time happen often? Peer review. Kelsey peer reviewed my my conference talk today. So utilize your work buddies to peer review your talks. Also, if your work is willing, a lot of people will do, on our team, will do like a Zoom and basically present their talk in front of their team. And that kind of is a secondary peer review, but it's also an easy way to just kind of, oh yeah, that slide's messed up, but you're in front of your peers. You're not in front of a group of people at DEFCon. So I know we had Nick Skeek, he's one of our coworkers. He did his talk for DEFCon, but he also presented it like twice in front of us at work just to get all the bugs out of his talk. All right, so we're ready, right? We're here, conference time. Okay, so we're at the conference. Let me see what I got. What do I have time-wise? Don't mind me. Oh, not bad. Okay, at the conference. So, some things to think about when you're at your conference. Why this? Ugh. When I had applied for this, so I originally was going to just drive up today, but we all know 94 sucks. So I decided to come up a day early and crash ThoughtCon, and I think it was a better decision because I was closer to my conference and it left me with less concern about getting there on time. So choosing a location, if you're coming from out of town, choose something, like don't try to save $40 to stay at a hotel 20 minutes away from the conference. You're gonna hate yourself because there's so much like fun stuff also that happens. Well, you guys know, duh. But like, choose something close. It helps out, it especially helps out if you forget your laptop in your room or something. Like I said, book close to the conference, arrive a day early if you can. That's what I did. Participate in the speakers' dinners and the welcome parties. I can't express that enough. The speakers' dinners, I know it sounds boring, but like GrrCon throws a really great speakers' dinner, but I have met so many people from those speakers' dinners that, like, great connections that I've got like good friends from that. So don't skip out on it. Plus, they've spent time and money to create the speakers dinner and food. I mean, why not eat free food, right? And sometimes there's free booze. So even GrrCon's free food and booze. It's like, heck yeah. So take advantage of your speaker perks. I mean, you're the, what was I saying today? I'm the talent. Take advantage of your, like, you made it here. You got to talk. Take advantage of being a speaker. Just don't be a jerk about it. All right. So, before the presentation, I'm not gonna lie. I was kind of lazy about this today. I don't know why this is like, finding out where you'll be presenting. So, when I first came in today, is this really like?
The speakers in the podium should be standing behind. It's a little easier so you can catch it.
This one?
Yeah.
What? Oh, this one? Right here? Okay. But you can't see me. Oh. All right.
It's also holding closer to your mouth. Than
Okay. Oh, like this?
Yeah.
All right. So, find out where you're going to be presenting. So, when I came in today, I walked down the hallway. I looked at my room. I'm like, okay, I'm going to come here. From there, checking the laptop connection. So, making sure that they either have the right connection, or you brought like a dongle for your laptop, or what did you call it? A dock, an actual docking station. Another thing is be on time. So I got a text message like, hey, you need to be by your talking point, like your talking area here in 15 minutes. Just be on time, because if you're late for your talk, then that takes away from your talk. They're not going to cut into the next person's time. So be respectful, be on time, 15 minutes. And then I always like to come into the room right before to get a feel for what the room looks like. Am I presenting forward? Am I presenting across? Like, is there a giant room that I'm talking to? That's another item. Virtual presentations are a little bit different. Log in ahead of time. So there should be like a green room or a waiting room. Test with a friend. So I don't know how many times I've just logged in a virtual presentation and just quickly mouse through. And then sometimes I also have people that will test your presentation with you. So things to think about. All right, laptop prep. How many times did I have to check for my laptop in my bag before I left? 5. So laptop prep. I probably did this about 4 or 5 times, but make sure that your laptop you're using will play your slideshow. Sometimes I'll just open up PowerPoint and I'll just tab through it just to make sure. I know, I'm like, and you're like, you have a problem. But backups. So I emailed my presentation to myself. I have it locally on my desktop, and then a USB copy of it is also important. Email it to a friend too. That's another idea, because you never know if your laptop is not going to work for your presentation and you have to on the fly use somebody else's laptop. I think I've seen that happen about 5 times. It's scary because 1, you're eating into your time, and 2, now you're using somebody else's device. So having it stored multiple places is a good idea, or if your laptop crashes. I mean, those are all possibilities. Same thing with the virtual presentation. Keep mindful of your camera position, microphone position, and again, test ahead of time. So you will want to make sure that your camera is at least facing at an angle up above, not so much up like this, because you don't want them to see your double chin, but at a good angle that they can see you, but not like so much that they see like your whole rest of your room. You want like you want you to be the spotlight. Also utilize that blur behind, yes, thank you. That's also a good thing to use for those virtual presentations if it's offered. And then same thing with the microphone position. If you're using buds, so I know when I was doing my podcast, those earbuds that hang from your ears and your hair, if you're a female, your hair like scratches the microphone and then makes it muffly. So anyways, so that's my equipment checks that I do. They're super important because you just want to make sure that you have things working. All right, start of the presentation. So a lot of times, obviously, like we've got a handheld mic right now. Lapel sometimes is an option, so something that can pin onto your shirt or your lanyard. I prefer lapel because I can just walk around. It's a little less, you don't have to worry about like keeping the mic like right on your mouth. It's already right there. So laptop location. I know it sounds silly, but like right here, my laptop location, you guys can't see me if I stand here, but like sometimes there's just gonna be a small table. If you're using a clicker, if you're like one that likes to travel on stage, make sure that your clicker's working. And then some things that I go over, when I am speaking, I focus on that back of the room. I don't look at like one person directly, or sometimes I do. But I don't look at one person directly because it just like weirds me out. So I just look right in the back of the room, but it makes you look like you're still looking at the crowd, but you're not going to get overwhelmed. So here are some different crowds that I've spoke at. This was my really intense DEFCon crowd. Isn't it great? Hey, I spoke at DEFCon. I don't care. This is me last year at BSides. Oh, aren't I cute? Oh, there's me again. This is at GrrCon, so that's BSides again. I'm just showing you like kind of the different layouts that you can have. Every conference is going to be different, so you have to be adaptable to what you're going to be presenting. This is me with a lapel mic versus my microphone. And then this is my biggest like talk, my biggest crowd. Yeah, it was kind of scary. Oh, I got 10, okay. All right, so. All right, so just kind of wrapping things up. So when you start your presentation, remember your About You speech. Like I said, it will get you through everything. It helps me run through things smoothly. Then during the presentation, once you've reached the end of your talk, ask the audience if they have any questions. Be prepared to answer questions afterwards as well. So a lot of times will have to go out into the hallway and answer questions on my mobile devices, my mobile device talk, or even this one. I had somebody pay for a drink afterwards because they really liked what I talked about. So, and then future talks. Once you get comfortable presenting, plan a future talk. Do that one talk a couple times, hit a couple conferences up, go to another talk, learn new content and talk about it. And keep doing it, because like don't use your first one as your reference point, because the next one will be better and the next one will be better. And just keep submitting if that's what you want to do, or if you're a one conference talk and done, that's completely fine as well. And that's what I have. That's all I got. So, does anybody have any questions? No? Good? Thank you. And I'm like within the time. Woo! Go ahead.
So I had a question. So you differentiated between like the 25-minute talk and the 50-minute talk. So for example, if you're giving the same presentation in 30 minutes, like what would you do in terms of like cutting down on your presentation? Or
so like I guess my mobile talk would be a good example. I would just take out, so if I wanted to increase it, I add more technical stuff, like I might go into a specific application a little bit more. I might give more detail into it. If I want to shorten it, I take less detail out and make it a high-level overview. So you're just taking less out, or focus on one specific topic that you know you could talk about for 30 minutes. So maybe it's just going to be static analysis versus static dynamic, reverse engineering, or whatever topic that you're wanting to talk about. If you want to narrow it down, pick a topic or make it more high level. Does that sound good? Okay. Yep, next one.
What was your motivation to start giving talks?
Actually, his name's Phoenix. He is from Scotland. He comes to GrrCon and he basically was like, you've done a lot of like cool shit. You should talk. And then he just kind of, you should talk. And then like, so it was my friend. But I always kind of wanted to. I mean, you go to these conferences, you're like, I kind of have some stuff to talk about. But he's the one that mentored me into doing a talk. And then, yeah, that was my friend. So, anybody else? In the back?
Yeah, what do you think about having co-presenters or two people on stage?
Oh, I love it. Kelsey. Let's do a mobile talk.
Let's do it.
Come on. Oh, I would love it. All I would have to say is practice. So make sure everybody, you know what your part is, that person knows what their part is, and then be prepared to fill in if the person freezes. So I would love it. Like, and I think it's a great way too to get comfortable because you're not up here by yourself. You're with your friend or your co-presenter. So.
Does that change the application process?
It depends. I think some of them you can just write in co-presenter. I'm not sure. I can't remember from this one, but yeah, you just type in, I'm gonna have a co-presenter, blah blah blah, and then put the name down. So, for some of them, I'm not. Other ones might be very specific on whether you don't have a co-presenter or not. So, anybody else? You good?
I do have another question.
Okay.
Using some more like obscure presentation tools, something like Resi, if you've heard of it, allows you to like put slides around on like a big 2D map and like move the camera around among everything.
Yeah.
Like, zoom out to like see the topics, like I don't know, like laid out of all the stuff.
Yeah.
And so I'm just wondering on like anyone's like opinions or perceptions to
I've
any talks like that.
no, I personally haven't. But I'm also like a little bit nervous in like my very static presentation because like, there's always so many things that can go wrong. So. Anybody else? Yeah? Only once? Twice? We can meet you out in the lobby if you're too scared to ask a question in front of people. All right, well, thank you. Appreciate it. This is my second year talking at 312, so I'll have to, at this point, I'll have to find something else to talk about. So.